fact that the younger generation are struggling with money is probably no surprise, but I think it's important we recognise it. They have very high unemployment compared to the rest of the age groups, and salaries have been low since the financial crisis and not really been rising. So opportunities are fewer and harder to come by. They have to work a lot harder to get those opportunities. So perhaps compared to my generation, where things were a little bit easier, I think things are more challenging for this generation.
I really do think things are more difficult for Generation A than they have been for previous generations. They have student loans, they have to struggle to get on the housing ladder or pay for their rents. There are so many different things that are required of them. They need to save their pensions. In the past, other generations had defined benefit schemes, which meant they didn't have to save as much. But now all these things are required, and I think it makes it really difficult for them.
Generation A faces all the same problems that my generation did. Housing is even more expensive, that's true, but at the same time people have more options and more access to information than they've ever done. I think the fact is that people have more ways to spend their money and therefore saving is harder, but it's always been tough and you've always needed to give something up to get something back in the future.
This is a generation that is engaged, it is interested, but I think they have other priorities rather than sort of pensions and saving and longer term savings. So it's not the will's there, but maybe the capability, the financial capability isn't.
But there is a trust issue between young people and financial institutions, and that trust has to be earned. Earning trust through engagement and through insights and from giving and from helping people understand what the issues are should be at the forefront of all financial services organisations.
We make it far too difficult for people to understand what we're doing. We make it seem very complex and sophisticated, which it can be, but we then try and communicate that and express that to the client. They're not interested. They want simple, easy to understand solutions.
What would I say younger people should do? Be active consumers. Vote with your feet. Yeah, if you don't like something, make sure you're vocal and make sure you're telling the provider and telling the industry about what you're actually expecting from the products.
I think one thing I would change about Generation A, if I could, and if they listened to me, would be to get them financially literate. I think they need education at schools, at college, from bank accounts to invest into pensions. It's all going to be vitally important, and there's just not enough information for them at the moment.
My best saving and investment tip for younger people is to spend a bit of time each week looking after their finances. So you're happy to go down to the gym, you're happy to spend a bit of time getting your body and your looks in good order. So invest a bit of time in making sure that your finances are in the best possible footing, and you'll be repaid many times over.
I think my best savings and investment tip for young people would be to get in there early. As soon as you start your first job, put some aside and get it coming straight out your payroll so that you don't actually notice it and therefore you don't miss it.
It's important that people save. Yeah, you work hard all your life. If you want a decent retirement, yeah, if you want the longest weekend, the longest holiday, then you need to save. And I think it's incumbent on the industry to engage with people and embrace new technologies to actually drive some of this forward.
Actually, I've got 3 tips. One is think very carefully about what you spend your money on. Okay, don't buy stuff you don't need with money you haven't got, because if you get into debt, that's an issue. That's pulling you back. Spend always less than you earn. I mean, it goes without saying. And thirdly, try and save at least 10% of your income, come hell or high water, and you do that by ensuring that your lifestyle costs do not escalate at the same rate as your income earning ability.